Friday, January 31st edition of the Carolina Weather Video. And a lot to talk about here. The storm track is going to get active as we get into next week. And some cold air damming episodes a possibility. Let's start off with this morning, though. And it's another cold morning across the foothills and the Piedmont. There's been a lot of folks down into the teens. And it's a little warmer over in the eastern part of the Carolinas. And the reason is there has been some cloud cover and just a little bit of very light precipitation over that way. You'll see that on the radar in just a moment. Mountain temperatures, a lot of variability, some teens, but some 30s. Just kind of actually some single digits in a couple spots there, including Busick. Just one of those mornings where a bit of a temperature inversion underway, so actually some of the normally colder, higher mountain locations warmer than some of the lower elevations. Now along the coast, there's that little bit of light precip. It's been some light rain and a little bit of light freezing rain in a couple spots with a little low pressure skirting offshore. That is well east of the Interstate 85 corridor, though. Just a clear, cold morning there. And here is the precipitation associated with our next cold front. Some near blizzard conditions through the night in parts of Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas. Some snow in northern Missouri, even into Illinois. And that cold front still a couple of days away. So again, we're sort of between those two systems for a good chunk of the Carolinas. So a pretty quiet weather setup for today. This is what it looks like on Futurecast, the high resolution modeling today. A lot of sunshine for most of the region. Again, the exception being areas right along the coast in some instances. Here's what it looks like on the surface map. That next cold front gradually moving our way. There it comes. Ahead of it, warming trend. Highs today, upper 40s to low 50s in many Piedmont spots. I think many of us well up into the 50s tomorrow. And then we might touch 60 on Sunday, depending on the timing of that incoming front. Looks like now we can take out the rain chance for most of Sunday, but notice precip gathering back toward the Mississippi River Valley. That's the next system that'll spread in some precipitation for Sunday night into Monday. Now here's what the NAM computer model looks like. Low pressure riding along that frontal boundary, spreading precip in by Monday morning, and actually the NAM is cold enough that it generates some wintry type of precip for a number of mountain spots into the northern foothills, even the Virginia border areas of northern North Carolina. Now a lot of the modeling is just a little bit warmer than that, but I guess that's something that we need to keep an eye on for Monday morning. Then a couple more storm systems head our way. This is the GFS model set up for Tuesday morning. High pressure in a favorable cold air damming position. Now it doesn't stay there. It pretty rapidly heads out to sea, but it may deliver enough of a chilly air mass that at least for a period of time, northern and northwestern North Carolina could see some freezing rain Tuesday before temperatures climb above freezing. That doesn't look like a huge deal, but it is something we need to monitor for Tuesday. And then Friday of next week, the models have actually gotten in less agreement now with this scenario than what we had yesterday, but this is the European solution. Potent high pressure, good cold air damming. Again, though, notice the high pressure not really wanting to stay anchored in place. We'll see how that trends on future model runs. But on the European model, it's a pretty good winter storm for parts of the Carolinas, especially the favored cold air damming areas, and so that's something to keep a watch on. I'll show you the more specific modeling here in just a moment. Very quickly, before we get into the detailed modeling, that's a peek from the Appalachian Ski Mountain Resort. Groomed conditions awaiting you up that way. Temperature 30, blowing rock as I'm cutting the video. Excellent ski conditions all around the region if you want to head up that way this weekend. All right, here we go with the European model. This is the setup for the weekend. That southwest flow bringing in those warmer temperatures. But here we go Sunday night into Monday morning. That next system moving on in. And then you go out to Wednesday morning. The next system has delivered the precipitation Tuesday and Tuesday night. And then later in the week, Friday into the weekend, we'll see how that next scenario unfolds. Now, let me show you the Canadian model first. This is for Tuesday. And notice that your primary low pressure heading up into Kentucky and Tennessee, pretty pronounced cold air damming. There's the surface temperatures on the Canadian model, sub-freezing in the favorite cold air damming locations in North Carolina. On the European model, that's what it looks like for Tuesday afternoon. Again, favored cold air damming spots close to freezing on the European. There's your surface charts, although taken at face value at that point in time, the surface freezing line only down to about the Virginia-North Carolina border. But you have some 30s for temperatures all the way down into northeast Georgia. So again, that's something to monitor for Tuesday. Then the cold front drags through here Wednesday. Wednesday looks pretty warm. We might hit 60 depending on the timing of that front Wednesday after that cold raw day Tuesday. And then again, here's what the European looks like for Friday. This is Friday morning as the next wave of precip is moving in up at 850 millibars. The temperature is down to 0, so that's a rough rain snow line down to south of I-40, pretty close to Charlotte Friday morning. But then the precip continues to funnel in here throughout the day Friday. That's Friday evening. At that point in time, your 850 millibar sub-freezing air is retreated up into northern North Carolina, but the surface freezing air is still down close to the South Carolina border in the favored cold air damming location. So that would be taken literally Friday on the European model for parts of the Piedmont, especially Interstate 85 points north and west, a period of snow to freezing rain. Let's go to the GFS. Okay, now this is the Tuesday system on the GFS. Again, pretty good cold air damming, but like the European model, you're looking at temperatures cold in the 30s, but above freezing for a lot of the damming areas. And then the GFS, this is the 0Z run. I haven't seen the 6Z yet at the time I'm cutting this video, but the 0Z run was about a day slower than the European. And so, yeah, on the GFS, you had some cold air damming, but due to the delayed nature of the arrival of the system, not as pronounced as it had been on previous runs, but still, you're looking, even on the GFS, slower scenario 0Z, some sub-freezing air in the cold air damming locations in the upstate of South Carolina, western North Carolina, even down close to northeastern Georgia. Take a peek at the ensemble spaghettis before I wrap up the video. This is the GFS 500 millibar ensemble plots here for Friday evening. A lot of noise there, and European as well. Not tremendous agreement in terms of the specifics. Now, the overall theme is pretty consistent, but still a lot of details to iron out. So the best winter weather potential next week, probably with that late week system. But again, we need to keep a watch in the coldest cold air damming spots Tuesday too, at least for a brief period of freezing rain. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody have a great weekend. God bless.